Monday through Friday at Southeast Metropolitan Park. Crews are busy maintaining baseball fields because come weeknights and weekends,
Come on, Christian!
it's game time. Dozens of Little Leaguers take over the diamonds, with parents like Sonia Reyes watching in the stands.
I think he loves it a lot.
Reyes' 11-year-old son Christian plays third base. He's number 15. The fifth grader practices once a week with his team.
But obviously we need more practice time for him to be more competitive.
So Reyes started taking her son to Southeast Metropolitan Park during the week and using the diamonds for extra practice until 2 weeks ago when the ground crews approached her.
You guys can't be on the field unless you reserved it.
Reyes says she has seen the signs that read ball fields by reservations only, but have never paid attention to them. She soon discovered reserving the diamond would cost her $20 for a minimum of 2 hours.
So after a month, they would come out to about $80 a month. And then my son pointed out that after 5 months, it'd be close to $500.
Too much for a first-year teacher who has to pay for items in her own classroom. So we reached out to Travis County Parks.
So if we had too many people practice on the fields, the quality of the turf, the bases, the infield would all start to wear. We wouldn't have a safe playing surface.
District Manager Tim Spires says a reservation system has been in place since the park was built in 2001. To prevent wear and tear, there is a maximum of 36 hours allowed on baseball fields a week. But Spires says anyone can practice in the open grassy spaces without reservations, which just isn't the same for Reyes and her budding baseball player. Jenny Lee, KVUE News. You think it'd be hard to call a business and scam it by pretending to be the owner, but police say for Kevin Reese, it was easy.
Way South Philly Deli.
Willie Pierce owns Way South Philly. He's the scammer's latest victim.
Well, he's pretty good.
Surveillance footage shows Reese coming in Friday night to collect $162. After police say the conman pretended to be Pierce over the phone and convinced an employee to refund a fake credit card dispute.
My employee, like I said, it was new. He thought it was me over the phone, and this guy did some research to kind of, I guess, get a feel for how I would speak and interact with my employees.
Pierce doesn't feel good about the ordeal.
I was really embarrassed.
Neither does the employee.
His tail was in between his legs. He was really sorry.
Police say Reese has pulled this same scam at several other businesses around Austin this year, in January and March. This is surveillance footage from Midtown Grocery and Cafe in Central Austin. Most of the businesses we contacted didn't want to go on camera. Only Pierce agreed because he wanted to help raise awareness.
And hopefully, if somebody else is watching this, another business owner or employees of a business, let their business owners know that just be on the lookout.
Jenny Lee, KVUE News.
It was a tiny house, but it was just our castle. We loved it. We loved it.
They say home is where the heart is.
It was sad. It's sad. We lost everything.
And that's why Lorna Hall's heart is breaking.
I can't even look at it. We don't sleep. It's hard. But we have to just, we're keeping each other positive.
She and her husband, Jerry, have lived here for almost 15 years until the water washed through their home 5 months ago.
That's a long time. It seems like 5 years.
Now, standing in her home that's stripped down to the studs,
We have to be strong.
she finds some comfort. The SBA Office of Disaster Assistance set up disaster loan outreach centers in Llano and Burnett counties.
Which are centers to provide direct access to those affected by the flooding to apply for federal funds.
Meaning businesses, nonprofits, renters, and even homeowners like the Halls can get some help and get some relief.
Yes. Yeah, huge relief.
Because for Lorna Hall, things are finally looking up.
We're going up. We're going up. We're not doing this again. We're not looking at this lake at eye level anymore.
In Kingsland, Molly Oak, KVUE News.
Inside foreign and domestic, lots of prepping for Tuesday's dinner service. Means plenty of egg cracking, pouring, and whipping, making the restaurant's signature popovers. And while the rolls are a mainstay on the menu, there's a relatively new item.
We also started applying a 3% surcharge on our customers' bills. If they would like, we can remove it.
That 3% surcharge is clearly seen on the receipt and on the menu. Co-owner Nathan Lemley made that move because he started giving his full-time employees health coverage. Employees like line cook Seth Pottorf.
It's amazing, because I don't have the money in my savings to, if anything were to happen, hopefully, right, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens.
In East Austin, Hoover's Cooking is also adding a surcharge to customer bills. It's $1, and the owner says it's taking care of paid sick leave. The owner emailed us this community value contribution, which all customers get with their menus. It explains that the $1 helps pay for paid time off for each and every employee. That $1 is not an option. Back at Foreign and Domestic, Lemley explains why he opted to do a percentage of the food and not just raise the food price.
If we were to raise prices on our food, we'd have to raise it $1 per item, basically. It would be the least amount we could raise, and that would actually cost the guests more.
Running a small business in a growing city is always a challenge, but Lemley says there was no question of what to do when it came to providing health insurance. Jenny Lee, KVUE News.
It's just a normal cream piece of paper.
On January 24th, 2002,
Dear Alan and
Kamala Barron and her husband received a letter.
Barbara and I appreciated your letter and are delighted that you want your child's middle name to be Walker.
From a man who's known for so much more than just politics.
I asked permission.
Permission to give their son, Chase Walker Barron, the same middle name as the former president.
Barbara and I preferred to name our first son George Walker Bush, probably because we thought 4 names were just too many for such a tiny baby. I thought that was cute.
Kamala says they wanted their son to share a name with a man they say lived an extraordinary life.
He really did exemplify Texan values of being very humble, very grounded. We feel like we have their blessing on our son. There are a lot of Bushes whose middle name is Walker, and we are delighted that now a Barron will share that name as well.
Chase is delighted too.
It was nice to hear that, like I was named after somebody like that.
It really touched us because we knew that they were writing from their heart also what that name meant to them and their family, and that they were passing it on to our family to follow on.
Keeping the memory of the former president alive.
It's definitely something that I feel like I might have to live up to.
And keeping the cream piece of paper framed on the table.
We send you and baby Barron our best wishes.
In Round Rock.
Sincerely, and it's signed by George Bush.
Luis De Leon, KVUE News.